This movie is insane, it's bizarre, it's mental, it's ludicrous, and it's Christmas, and I bloody love it. Hey everyone, I'm Jim and welcome back to my movie obsession, a place for film obsessives. If you're new here, I'm obsessed with retro movies from the 80s and 90s as well as superhero movies, and I do regular in-depth reviews on them. And if that sounds like something you'd like, please consider subscribing and we can discuss our movie obsession. I'm a big fan of this movie. I know it's crazy, I know it's ludicrous, but I just have a blast watching it. And there are reasons for that, so let's get into talking about Santa Claus the Movie more in depth. So here's an interesting fact to start on, you guys. This movie was actually directed by Jeanette Swark, who also directed Supergirl. Yeah, no wonder this movie's bloody bonkers. And that's nothing, John Carpenter was originally considered to direct this film. Yeah, the man behind Halloween and The Thing was going to make a wholesome family Christmas movie. Now that is awesome. John Carpenter and Christmas. It just doesn't seem to go together, but somehow I just really want to see it. John Carpenter himself doesn't really go with Christmas. I bet he's a Grinch, I bet he's a humbug, I bet he's a modern day Scrooge. He's in there writing his next dark movie script while everyone's having Christmas dinner.
That is not exactly what I had in mind.
Santa Claus the Movie was filmed in Buckinghamshire, England at Pinewood Studios between August and November 1984. The film was photographed by Arthur E. Betson, whose credits among others include the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Dudley Moore had always been the top choice to play the lead elf in this film, and Moore was attached to the project virtually from the outset and had a say on both scripting and choice of director. Originally, David Newman's first draft script called for the character to be named Ollie, but Dudley Moore decided instead that the name should be changed to Patch, because Patch was the nickname of his own young son. When casting Santa Claus, Brian Denny was the top choice of John Carpenter, when John was considered for the possibility of directing the film. Jeanette Swark, however, felt that he needed an actor with more warmth than Denny, and toward the end he had screen tested such actors as David White and Dudley Moore's co-star from the movie Arthur, Barney Martin. The role ultimately went to David Huddleston, who had an amazing screen test. Look at him, he just is Santa.
It does suit me, doesn't it?
For the role of the evil villain in the movie BZ, the producers wanted a star with a similar stature to Gene Hackman when he had played Lex Luthor in Superman the Movie. The role was originally offered to Harrison Ford, who turned them down. Offers were also made to Dustin Hoffman, Burt Reynolds and Johnny Carson. However, John Lithgow was eventually settled on after the filmmakers watched Terms of Endearment and realised that he had a Grinch type look to him. The role of the old ancient elf in the movie was written with James Cagney in mind. However, Cagney was very weak in his old age and the legendary actor could not adequately assume the role, despite the fact that he wanted to. Eventually Dudley Moore suggested his friend Burgess Meredith for the role, which he in the end won. It is so cool that not only was John Carpenter considered to direct this film, but the guy who played the Penguin in the 60s Batman show and Mickey in Rocky played the old ancient elf. Jerry Goldsmith was another big name approached to the film, this time to do the score, but he was unavailable and musical duties instead went to Harry Mancini. Mancini was the composer of themes from The Pink Panther and Peter Gunn. The song It's Christmas All Over the World was written by Bill House and John Hobbs with Freddie Mercury in mind. Mercury actually recorded a demo for the song at Pinewood Studios, but he was never able to make a full commitment to the movie as he and his Queen bandmates had already committed themselves to the Highlander soundtrack. In the end, Mercury turned down the project, stating that he felt that Queen had become overcrowded with requests to work on film soundtracks. As a result, Sheena Easton was ultimately chose to record the particular tune.
Not bad.
On a budget of $50 million, the movie only made $23 million at the box office and is considered a big scale flop. However, to this day it's still a beloved cult classic and one of the most watched Christmas movies of all time. Sadly, the critics were just as harsh as the box office, with the film receiving nearly unanimous bad reviews. For me, that's a real shame, because I love this movie. Yes, it's silly in places, yes it's dumb, but I don't take it too seriously and I just get caught up in the film's magic and energy. The charm for me outweighs the silliness, and to be honest, surely a Christmas movie can get away with being a bit silly. Even very silly, as long as the heart is still there. The movie tells the story of a kind old woodcutter and his wife, who were caught out in a blizzard with their reindeer one evening. This is the way the movie starts, people. You truly think the reindeer are going to die, freezing animals on the verge of death. Merry Christmas. You can tell this is an 80s movie, can't you? I mean, in no other decade would a Christmas movie start like this. It's bloody mental. Luckily, just before the kids break down into uncontrollable tears in the audience, we see the reindeers are still alive, as are future Santa and his wife. Suddenly the elves turn up in a truly magical scene, but one that I can't help but laugh at too. I mean, they literally turn up and say, "You're coming with us, mate." Alright, we could do with a place to stay. No, you're coming forever, mate. Sorry, what? Yeah, you're coming to live with us now. No choice in the matter. This is a kidnap, guys.
Where are we? Home?
Oh, no. Our home is far from here.
Not anymore. This is your home now.
Our prophecy says we will find a poor, hopeless sap in the middle of nowhere, and we will kidnap him against his will along with his missus, and we will say, "You're going to be Santa forever, and you're going to live with us. No way out. You're trapped. This is what's going on. You are Santa. No options. No say in this. Don't judge us, it's for the children." The new Santa is informed he is the chosen one, and he will bring joy to all the children in the world on Christmas Eve, and he and his wife will also become immortal. Santa starts to settle in and ease into his fate of becoming Father Christmas. I mean, I know it's a kidnap, but when you actually think about it, this is pretty good. It sounds pretty awesome. You get to live forever. You get to go around the world doing the most amazing feat every year. You get to have some amazing flying reindeers as your pets. I mean, is there actually a catch to being Father Christmas?
The catch is you will sever every human contact. Nobody will ever know you exist anywhere. Ever.
Santa, of course, begins his mission and appoints Patch, played by Dudley Moore, as his assistant. Santa builds his legend over a few years. I'm not sure what happened before he started being Santa. I guess kids just got gifts from their parents when they were feeling nice, and then their parents went, "Alright, someone invisible is now treating our kids on Christmas." Bonus, mate. Certain moments do come out of nowhere in this plot, as Santa starts randomly meeting up with a homeless kid every Christmas. Just on Christmas. Rest of the year, he's still homeless. Christmas, he gets a treat. "Yeah, hi again, Santa. It's me again. I'm still homeless. I'm still homeless, mate. I'm on the streets. Fuck the toys. Give me a home. Stop giving me wooden toys every year. I need a home, mate. I'm on the streets." And Santa's just like, "Well, that's it for another year. See you later, Joe. You can come around with me again next year and I'll bring back another wooden toy for you. By the way, remember it's cold this time of year, so be sure to wrap up. Bye, love you, bye."
Boy, I hate it when this happens.
So the young homeless lad called Joe, played by Christian Fitzpatrick, is friends with the niece of our villain, Cornelia, played by Carrie Kelhelm. And why doesn't she just at least mention that her friend needs a home? I'll never know. She literally leaves him on the street after the course of 2 years, just like Santa. She at least lets him in her house now and again. Santa, nothing, except get him a wooden toy. Maybe Santa can make him a really nice wooden gravestone as a present next year. Yeah, I went there.
Don't you know who I am?
So something very strange starts to happen too. We learn Patch is a terrible toy maker, as Santa starts having his toys returned. How? How do you return a gift from Santa? It's not a video, it's not a library book. You can't just turn around and go, "I don't like my gift from Santa, it's going back to the North Pole." There's no returns policy here. Patch gets all stroppy and decides to walk to New York, which he somehow reaches before 2085, and he joins up with the evil, corrupt businessman BZ, played by John Lithgow. What kind of a name is BZ? And it's never explained why his name's BZ. He's just called BZ. You're right, what's your name? BZ. You're a fucking rapper. No, I'm just a businessman. Oh, okay. BZ, that's my name, BZ. Live with it. BZ begins to use Patch for his own selfish desires and manipulates his pure and wholesome elf heart, having him make amazing toys for him so he can make money. Even though this movie is in moments silly and the plot can make no sense, it really is a charming watch with some wonderful sets and great performances. There's just this colourful, heartwarming Christmas energy running throughout. It's a breezy, happy, entertaining family Christmas movie, and it works for me. The set design is beautiful. So many shots in the film look just like pictures from storybooks, and that gives the movie a real fairy tale magic. There's such a grand spectacle to Christmas here. It jumps out of the screen and you truly feel like you're watching the real Santa fly around in his sleigh. It feels meaningful and pulls at your heartstrings. The elves you cannot help but love. They're so likeable, and the scene in which they are preparing the toys for Christmas is one of the best Christmas scenes ever. The music is sensational, and watching this scene on Christmas Day, I really can't think of a more charming Christmas event. I mean, there's so much to this movie, the grand sweeping instrumental music and devastatingly beautiful sets of the elves' workshop, and the huge open vastness of the Santa Claus musical number as it sweeps through Santa delivering over the years. It's just great. Once we get to New York, the movie becomes a bit more screwball and the kids aren't amazing actors, but Dudley Moore and John Lithgow save the mid portion of the movie, as does David Huddleston as Santa, who is a real pleasure to watch. Seriously, I'm actually angry at myself for not watching this when I was a kid. If I had a time machine and I could go back and change anything about my life, I would go back and get myself to watch this movie. I'd go, watch this movie, you little shit, sit down, watch it, love it, enjoy it, and sort out your hair, and floss, and don't watch Home Alone 4. David Huddleston is one of my favourite Santas ever. He's just so convincing as jolly old Saint Nick. He looks the part completely and his smile is so charming. Dudley Moore is also great as Patch. He's just so good hearted and kind that you definitely feel sorry for him when he's taken advantage of by John Lithgow's crazy villain. However, you can't help but laugh also because Lithgow is so over the top in the way he manipulates him. Patch is a little bit dumb and oblivious, but Dudley Moore is so charismatic and entertaining in the role that you forgive his character for being such an absolute wally. The other elves also seem to dislike Patch and find him annoying. Why could that be? Well, probably because he's the only one of them who makes bloody elf puns.
And I'm entirely elf-taught.
John Lithgow puts in one of the most over-the-top performances I have ever seen as BZ. His performance puts Dennis Hopper in Super Mario Bros. To shame, and that's a real achievement. He is an absolute maniac. It's great that John Lithgow completely lets himself go in this movie. He's chewing scenery left and right and having an absolute ball with the role. He's not an overly intimidating villain, but he's a classic cartoon villain, and this movie is pretty much a live action cartoon, so I enjoy his performance a lot.
That's it. We'll bring it out on March 25th, and we'll call it Christmas 2!
The ending culmination of the movie is a lot of fun. Again, having this on in the background on Christmas Day would really set the mood. It's a really breezy and exciting scene. Patch can't be too bad as well, as he's proven he can invent anything Santa has, as he's got himself his own bloody sleigh. Well done mate, you're moving up in the world. It's up to Santa to save him and Joe from exploding candy before they fall from 100 feet to their demise. It's one of the many absurd things in this film, but boy it's entertaining and fun to watch. Santa Claus the Movie has a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes, but famous critic Roger Ebert did have some positive things to say about the film, saying it does an interesting job of visualising Santa's workshop and Santa's elves. He also praised the film's special effects, particularly the New York City flyover sequence involving Santa. In his book Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, critic Alonso Duralde says that Santa Claus the Movie is one of the worst Christmas movies ever. That guy has not seen Home Alone 4. Believe it or not, Marvel Comics published a comic book adaptation of the film by writer Sid Jacobson and artist Fred Springer in the Marvel Super Special number 39. And that says it all right there. How many well-loved Christmas movies have comic books made about them, but this movie that's hated by most people has achieved something not even the biggest Christmas movies have. Despite its harsh backlash, the film clearly has a fan base. To have a comic book made about it and people still watching it and talking about it and enjoying it to this day, seriously, some people's favourite Christmas movie is Santa Claus the Movie. So the film may be looked down on, but it seems to have become the great underdog hero of all Christmas movies, and I think that makes it all the more endearing. So what do you guys think of Santa Claus the Movie? It's a cult movie, so it obviously provokes strong opinion one way or the other. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Once again everyone, please hit subscribe if you're obsessed with retro movies from the 80s and 90s as well as superhero movies. It's usually the focus of my channel, but it's still December, so I have a few more Christmas related videos still to come in the month of December. But it is Christmas in a couple of days guys, so Merry Christmas everyone, and I hope you have an amazing day however you spend it, and I hope you watch some amazing Christmas movies. So thanks for watching everyone, I'm Jim and I'm obsessed with movies, and I will see you next time.